right? You have a lot of turnover, possibly. Kelsey may be finished.
Where I'm looking up average life expectancy. I'm dreaming at this point. Like, I can't. I'm done with the season.
What's the next evolution of Pat Mahomes? And it's weird to be talking about a guy like, what's the next evolution of Pat Mahomes, and he's not 30. You could be anywhere doing anything, but you're hanging out with us, and we appreciate that. So wherever you're listening and however you're listening, we appreciate you guys for listening. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the Game Plan Podcast. Alex Goodwin is my name. You can follow me on Twitter at Alex Goodwin TSM, and that's on the artist formerly known as Twitter. At Alex Goodwin TSM, that's T as in tacos, S as in sangria, M as in margaritas. Kennedy Miller, my guy.
What's going on, my brother?
Man, nothing too much. Ken, where can the folks find you on Twitter, my dog?
Find me on Twitter at _Kennedy Miller _ Again, that's _Kennedy Miller _.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on our official Game Plan Podcast YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell 10 friends to tell 10 more friends to tell 10 more friends to follow us on our official Game Plan Podcast YouTube channel. Help get us to 100 subscribers, guys. We're at 32, 33 right now. Not a bad start, but help us get to 100. Ken, I think at some point we might have to do some sort of like giveaway, like the 100 subscribers.
Sure.
We're going to have to do something.
For sure. We need 100 subscribers.
Like, get us to 100 subscribers. Help us out. I don't know if we're going to give y'all a free gas card or a Subway coupon or an or an EBT card. I don't know. We got to give folks something.
Yeah, we got to get that done. We got to make that happen.
Got to make that happen ASAP. And, Kennedy Miller, I said T as in tacos. I should have said T as in took 2 losses, because that's what the Kansas City Chiefs have done to open up this season. And today, Kennedy Miller, kind of talk about how we think, this is going to play out for the Chiefs and some other teams on our list here today that have not really had the strongest of starts. We're going to play a new game, Ken. We've had the report card. We've had the hot seat, contender or pretender. We've had a couple other different things. We're going to introduce a new game here tonight.
What's that? What's it called?
Wait and see, or let's chill. Right? Let's chill. Shout out to Aaron Hall. Shout out to Guy. Shout out to Teddy Riley and all of them. Shout out to them. And wait and see. I think that's a Luther Vandross song, if I remember it right. I think it's a Luther song. Well, let's back up. I totally messed that up. I totally messed it up.
Do Goodbye Love. You could do Goodbye Love.
Okay, I like that.
Because you're doing Let's Chill, or you could do Goodbye Love. Like, let's chill, Guy, right? Or on the flip side of Guy, goodbye, I gotta let my love go for you.
I like it. I totally messed the game up, but we gonna roll with Kennedy Miller. Goodbye, love. We gonna roll with that. So Kennedy Miller, I'm gonna ask you this: with the Chiefs, do you think it's just let's chill? Let's give them a minute to cook a little bit. Let some guys come back, or is it goodbye, love? This isn't the same Chiefs team we're used to.
So I think this is the most interesting one out of the teams that we're going to go over, because my question is, what are we answering this in terms of, are the Chiefs done as in not making the playoffs, or done as in not being in the Super Bowl, not being Super Bowl contenders?
Let's say, I'll be honest. I don't think it's a lock they'll make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's inherently a lock at this point.
I would say let's chill on the not making the playoffs. But I do think it's a goodbye love as far as the way that this team is constructed right now of being true Super Bowl contenders. I think they'll be a wild card team. I don't think that they'll win their division, right? They're 0-2. They played a Chargers team who I think is a better team than them right now. And then they lost to the defending champions, right? They're already short on weapons. Xavier Worthy is out. They're hoping he can be back next week. Not really certain if he will. Rashee Rice still has a 6-game suspension. Travis Kelce is on the other side of his career, right? The defense is good, right? The defense is good, but their running game is a little suspect. And as these years have gone on, like when Pat Mahomes, and it's crazy to say this now, like when Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs were in their heyday, were in their prime, right? It was almost like everything was like so innovative. They were doing the little ring around the rose. You know, they're doing a little ring around the rosy thing when they're in the huddle and they're doing all this. And then, like yesterday, they go for it on like 4th and 2, and they just like hand the ball off.
On their side,
When it was like
like inside their 40.
when it was like a point in time where it was like if the Chiefs went for it on like 4th and 2, like you didn't know what was gonna happen, but you knew that like Mahomes was gonna have the ball and somehow somebody was gonna be schemed wide open. And like they don't have that element anymore. Like Mahomes missed the Thornton kid on the deep ball. He missed him on the deep ball. He ended up getting another one to him. But if he gets that, that's a touchdown with I want to say 3 minutes left, 3 minutes and some change left. And some more time had elapsed when he hit him on the next one. But I think they're still going to be a good team if they can get everybody healthy. The running game is terrible though. Uh, Pacheco and what Kareem Hunt, like
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. When they said that was Kareem Hunt, I'm not gonna lie. You know who I thought that was, Kennedy Miller? I thought that was damn Eddie Lacy, because that does not look like Kareem Hunt. Like, when
yeah,
did Kareem Hunt become your short yardage option?
like those dudes are averaging like 3.5 yards a carry, 3 yards a carry. Like it's not good. It's not good. But like I said, you got Pat Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, you got a good defense. That's gonna win you some games. And you had Denver that just choked and lost. One of the Chargers and the Raiders are about to lose right now. So you'll still have like nobody will have a 2-0 lead in the division. So you got a chance, but at their days of winning Super Bowls and being the team out of the AFC, they're not even in tier 1 right now for me.
I'm gonna say let's chill.
Mhm.
I don't want to, because I think Kennedy Miller, in any other situation, if this is any other quarterback in any other organization, I would clearly say goodbye, love. Right? Like, clearly and obviously. You know what I'm saying? That defense is good, right? But we saw Jalen Hurts last night have 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw the ball. For all the reasons you just mentioned, they cannot run the football effectively. Their run game is Pat Mahomes scrambles.
Mhm.
Typically, we see those Pat Mahomes scrambles in the divisional round, in the conference title game, in the Super Bowl. We see them at those types of places during the year. Typically, he kinda saves that. He saved a little something. If he pulling that out the bag in week 2, what's that tell you? If they need
This
juice right now, they're not in a good place at all. And you have to ask, what are y'all doing? Like, Mahomes is on a really team-friendly contract, right? So you have to ask, what are y'all doing with Patrick Mahomes' money? Right? Now, again, some of that money is suspended and injured right now. Right? They just spent some money on that new left tackle, Josh Simmons. Right? But they can't get a push to run the football. Those receivers, like, there's nothing that feels Kansas City-esque about this. And of course, the offense changed and evolved once Tyreek Hill ended up in Miami. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But it doesn't, like, their formula the last year or so has been keep it close with our defense, keep it close, keep it close. We've got Mahomes, and we'll win it at the end. That has been the plan. That was the plan yesterday, well, at least these first 2 weeks, and it didn't work. Like, the margins are that slim for them where that's not working any longer. Travis Kelce looks cooked. I don't know if you've been seeing these clips on the internet of like these 45, 50-year-old men playing tackle football, and they got grandkids. Have you seen this?
But yes.
And let me just say for the record, if you are over the age of 25 years old, right? You're not playing college football or nothing like that. You're just playing tackle football for no money. You a damn fool, right? Like, health insurance costs too damn much for you to be out there doing that. Like, what was that? That 65-year-old man who was playing left guard and tore his
Man,
ACL? I saw somebody say, if you over the age of 32 and you playing tackle football, you deserve to get kicked off your health insurance. I'm not going to say that.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
it's ridiculous though, honestly.
Yes.
Like
It's wild. It's wild as hell. Because, my thing is, kid, me and you, Kennedy Miller, attendees of New Faith Church, we have been there at those preachers, deacons, basketball games. And we have seen the esteemed men of the church go down, non-contact injuries. torn Achilles, blown knee, torn meniscus, right? We've seen it. And that is not putting on helmets and shoulder pads and running into each other.
It makes
Right.
no sense. It makes no sense at all.
Look, I love playing football. I haven't played football since my senior year of high school. I love football, love it, love it, love it. I don't know what it would take. You'd have to hold me hostage to take me out there and put on the helmet and shoulder pads right now. I am a tenure track professor. Are you crazy? Like, I don't even know if your insurance covers that. But
It
yes,
should.
you shouldn't. Because you go to your doctor and tell your doctor, what were you doing? Well, I was going over the middle trying to catch a drag route, trying to catch a
Man,
crossing route. Your doctor gonna cuss you out.
that don't make no sense, bro.
Like, like your doctor gonna cuss you. Forget your doctor. This is how I know these men aren't married, right? Because
No, don't the wives be doing the TikToks?
I did see. You're right. You're right. I did see a couple of like wives and girlfriends of the 37U.
Come on, man. Come on.
Look, I'm gonna say this, and we got to keep going. This is why our packages be late on Fridays and Saturdays, because our Amazon workers, our UPS workers, our
That's what they
janitorial
doing in their
staff,
spare time.
this is what they're doing on Saturdays and Sundays. And when they mess around and get hurt, they don't have nobody to pick up the shift. I digress, but that's how Travis Kelce looks right now. He's moving like he needs some Geritol. All right. That is how he's looking for Travis Kelce. So for me, like their next couple of games, like these aren't gimmies. You know what I'm saying? Like there isn't like a get right game. They ain't got the Saints on the schedule. You know what I'm talking about? And this division, for the longest, it felt like the Chiefs just knew they were going to get 4 or 5 wins in the division. Pretty easy, right?
That's changed.
They've already dropped one to the Chargers. The Raiders are going to be better just with Pete Carroll, right? So I think the Raiders might be able to get them on one, right? And the Broncos have one of the top 6 or 7 defenses in the league. The best, I would say the best cornerback tandem in the league right now, with Surtain and Riley Moss.
This might be the best coach division ever.
I mean, I don't think might. I think that's a certified fact. Look, Jim Harbaugh is the only one in that division that hasn't won a Super Bowl
and won a national title,
right? And went to another Super Bowl with the Niners.
With the
right?
Niners, yep.
So, like, this division isn't a gimme anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say they're going to get the benefit of the doubt from me against my better judgment and logic, right? Because I feel like Mahomes and company have earned that, because I feel like this feels like in 2014 when Tom Brady and them boys got blown out on Monday Night Football. We was all like, yo, it's over. It's a wrap. It's done. And then they won the Super Bowl that year, right? Or in that 2015-16 season where, and Kennedy, you remember this big time when we were like, yo, Steph might be better than LeBron James. And then that 3-1 finals happened, and we were like, we're never going to say some stupid shit like that again. That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel. Like, I just, you just don't want to pick against the man.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. All right. From one team that I have to give the benefit of the doubt to another team that I have absolutely no confidence in right now, Kennedy Miller, my beloved Texas Longhorns. Mr. Miller, eternal optimist. Brother man, give me some sort of confidence to have in the Texas Longhorns, because right now, in terms of being a national championship contender, Kennedy Miller right now I think is goodbye love. But Mr. Miller, help me just...
I don't think it's goodbye love. I mean, it's early. I think the expectations are getting the arch. The team itself is not bad. The defense is playing great. You've got a bunch of talent on the team. He's just got to play better. And you would think, like, after the first Ohio State game, it was kind of like, okay, you go and play the defending champions on the road, right? The Shoe was a tough place to play. First road start. And you can kind of see stretches, right? Like, for the most part of that game, he did not look good. But, the last, like, 2 or 3 drives, he started to get something going.
He came alive.
And we had a chance, right? If you said we got a chance to tie the ball game with a minute and a half left in Ohio State, I'll be like, okay, I'm cool with that. But then you're expecting him when you're playing UTEP, when you're playing, was it UTSA last week?
It was San Jose. He played really well against
San
San
Jose.
Jose.
San Jose.
He was fine against San Jose.
He started off slow, but then he got like 4 touchdowns. I think he's starting to get a connection with the is it
Livingstone.
Livingstone, the Parker Livingstone dude. He overthrew him on one for this last game against
On that
UTEP.
play action post right on 4th and 1. Yes.
Yes. But then he goes against UTEP and like he throws a terrible pick. He throws a terrible pick in the red zone. Like I said, he's only completing 55% of his passes. In the first half against UTEP, he's 5 for 16 for 69 yards. It's like these are the games where you get your confidence, and it feels like his confidence is going down. And I mean, they're booing him. They're booing him in Austin. But I do think if he can have one good day, like if he can have a couple of good completions, like the Red River rivalry is going to be a freaking showdown. But if he can get something going early in that game, like against a big time opponent, because even you sent me a tweet, or I sent you a tweet. It was about it. Guys are seeing a different thing during the week than we're seeing on Saturday, so you know that it's there. And I think Sark even mentioned it in one of his press conferences. Like he didn't say it flat out, but like this is like the first real adversity this kid is having. He's lived a great life. He's lived a great life so far, right? Like guys handle adversity differently, and he's got to go through it. And hopefully he can push past it in order for us to get to a national championship this year. But these are the growing pains that he has to get through. It doesn't matter that he sat behind Quinn Ewers. It doesn't matter that he's already had some playing time last year. He still has to go through it organically on his own. So hopefully, I mean, dear God, if he looks bad against Sam Houston, I mean,
You'll be right with me.
yeah, then the wheels are falling off. Hopefully he can pull it together, and then by the time we're getting into the second half, true SEC play, he's got his confidence, he's got some moxie to him, and then hopefully those running backs and receivers are a little bit like Baxter. Hopefully those guys are ready to go, because those are big parts of the offense.
I think for me, the biggest thing is that you figure at some point you're going to have a rough stretch. You're going to have to ask, how do you deal with those rough stretches? And of course, I hate to do this. I hate when people do this. Like we're talking about something else and we all, for some reason, make it about ourselves. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll never forget my first year of grad school. I was struggling. I had to retake one class because you can't make C's in grad school. And I had to drop another one. If I didn't drop that class, I was going to get put out. So I'm like, yo, I have never had to retake a class. I've never had to drop a class because I'm not doing well. And I'm in the tank for a minute. And my advisor, shout out to my dog Tony. He said, honestly, we're gonna find out what you're made of right now. Right? Either you're gonna rise to the occasion, which I think you can do, which I think you will do, or other people fall apart. But it's better you have this adversity early to see how bad you want it and if you got it. Right? Like that sort of like intestinal fortitude. For me, I think we're gonna find out what Arch's constitution is really like. You know what I mean? But right now, it really feels like, kind of to echo what you said, it feels as if there is one bad play or a bad stretch, it all snowballs downhill for everyone. Right? It snowballs for everyone. Arch gets the tight ass. Sark starts calling the game with a tight ass. O-line has a tight ass. And everybody's out there. It should have just one big shirt. Tight ass. Right? All of them. Tight assed. Right? All of them catch a case at a tight ass if it's not going well. Okay? Uh, you didn't see me going there? Stop me when I start telling lies, Mr. Miller. Stop me when I start telling lies. Okay? All of them boys get a bad case of tight ass, right? And it seems like for me, with Arch, Ken, you're a basketball coach. You've coached kids. You've had kids that if they make a bad play, if they make a mistake, they can't go to the next play. right? It just snowballs and it snowballs and it snowballs. And with Arch, it seems like it starts to snowball. His mechanics are now all over the place, right? On that bad interception that he threw across his body, his original read, he was a sprint out to the left. His original read, Parker Livingstone, is open, like 4 yards open on an out route. He doesn't throw it. That's up here. That is all up here. There's another throw where Wingo was open on a 4th down. Can't hit him. Right, like Wingo is wide open initially. Like Arch can't anticipate that. He can't make the throw. There's another out route to Wingo. He just flat misses. Right, and it's like, oh, it's all up here. Like you are completely frazzled right now. And the other thing is, I think schematically, Sark isn't doing them any favors. Right, because I think Sark starts to call the game with a tight ass. Sark starts running the ball, 1st down, 2nd down. Right, everybody they're loading the box, stopping the run, 1st down, 2nd down. Now we're in 3rd and pass. Right, like there needs to be some sort of like versatility to what we're calling, and that isn't there right now. Part of that is because Arch isn't making those throws. Also, I think it's Sark as well. Right, like Texas offenses typically have been able to move the ball inside the 20s, right? Like from 20 to 20. But once it gets into the red zone, things start to stagnate. Everything looks difficult right now, right? Now, is CJ Baxter hurt? Trey Wisner's hurt? DeAndre Moore's hurt? Emmett Mosley's hurt? Like, there's some guys that are hurt and that are banged up, sure enough. But we're more talented than this.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right. But we are more talented than this. Much more talented than this. But when Sark does get us a play schemed up right, we can't execute it. That play action, and they was trying to throw the ball to Livingstone on the post. That's open, that's there. That's a throw that last year Arch makes in his sleep. We saw him make that throw, those throws to Isaiah Bond and those throws to DeAndre Moore, those deep passes. We've seen him do it. We have seen him do this. But right now, he just can't. And I'm going to be honest with you. If Texas does not figure this out, they will waste, for the 2nd straight year in a row, a national championship caliber defense. Because that defense can win you a national title. And all you need is a competent offense. They do not need to be the greatest show on turf. They do not need to be the 2019 LSU Tigers offensively, or those 2018 Alabama Crimson Tide where they had Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Ruggs. You don't have to be those guys. We just need you to be good enough. Now, it's wild 3 weeks into the season. I'm talking about Arch Manning like he need to be Stetson Bennett and we'll be fine. But that's how good our defense is. Did you know Ohio State only crossed the 50-yard line twice in that game?
Yes.
You keep Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and all those other NFL receivers and running backs, you keep them on their side of the field all but twice, and you lose the game? Yo, that's a game you got to find a way to win. If you are just merely competent offensively, you win that game. I'm going to read you down some stats, Ken, about how putrid Texas has been offensively. And if you haven't been able to tell, right now, in terms of, I think Texas is going to be a good team, but in terms of national championship contention, which is what at this year I expect, right? We go to the semifinals 2 years in a row, we have to progress, right? Texas, last in the SEC in 3rd down conversions, last in the SEC in red zone conversions, 12th in the SEC in 4th down conversions, 14th in the SEC in scoring and total offense, 13th in the SEC in passing yards per game, 9th in the SEC in rushing yards per game. This is bad. This is putrid offensively. If we don't figure it out, and like if Arch continues to play like this, we're going to be in the Texas Bowl. We're going to be in the Music City Bowl. We're going to be in the Gator Bowl. Upset. So right now, until I see better, I'm going to say in terms of national championship like contention, I'm going to say goodbye love, right? Because the way I see it at this moment, like based on how Arch is playing right now, we got to go play Brett Venables in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Red River. We got to go to Athens and play Georgia and deal with Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, right? Hell, I'm going to keep it funky with you. We got to go to Florida, to Gainesville, where Billy Napier will be coaching for his job. How confident do you feel that Arch will be there and be ready to go and play well? Right now, I don't. They got what? A bye in this game against Sam Houston to figure it out before they go to Florida. If it don't look good the next couple weeks, this is going to be a long year. And there's a liquor store right by my house.
Yeah, I mean, right now I have them in tier 3 of the SEC teams. Like I think Georgia is tier 1, and then you got A&M, you got Oklahoma, and you got Tennessee. And I think I don't even know if we're there yet.
You know, I was actually going to say the only thing that gives Texas some measure of a saving grace right now, there is not a lot I feel very confident in the SEC, right? LSU's
Yeah.
the third ranked team in the country, but like they got 5 pick interceptions off of DJ Lagway and only won the game 20-10, right? Nussmeier doesn't look good. Alabama has the most talented team in the country by recruiting rankings,
Alabama.
leadership
Yeah.
ratio, the whole deal. But they can blow somebody's doors off. They can blow LSU's doors off, but the next week not get off the bus against Vanderbilt, right? So there's really A&M. They're gonna find a way to lose 4 games and be 8-4. Okay. Oklahoma looks good right now, but their number one, the running back that got out of the portal, Jaden Ott, he's barely played, and they're paying him a lot of money. Like I don't know what quite the deal is, but he's barely played, and their offensive line sucks. Sucks, I tell you, sucks. Right? Like you didn't hear it here first because other people have eyes too. They've seen how bad Oklahoma's O-line is. Right? That's my thing. That's the only thing keeping them like giving them a real fighting shot right now while Arch and Sark and the guys figure it out is that I don't really feel great about anybody else in the SEC. Right? Like there's no 2017, 2012 Alabama there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no one there that's like, oh yeah, we got no shot. So that's why I am there with them. Okay, I'm going to move on to the Detroit Lions. Ken, they're 1-1. They got blown out by the Packers, which right now look like the best team in the league. But then they beat the brakes off of the Bears. So, Ken, where are you right now with the Lions, with the fighting Dan Campbells? Where you at with them boys?
I'm kind of in the same boat with the Chiefs. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they might have missed their Super Bowl window. Listen, man, it is really tough to replace both coordinators. And not only replace them, but they replace them in-house, right? So you're not going out and getting, the best coordinator that's available or the best guy that's available. Like, Dan Campbell feels comfortable. He feels comfortable in his staff, and he brings these guys up. I don't know, man. And then, a lot of their identity has been being more physical than other teams, beating them up. And they also lost some linemen this offseason. They lost some O-linemen this offseason.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like, we've all seen it before. As teams get success, people start getting paid, people start leaving, coordinators get jobs, right? You have to strike while the iron is hot. And I think now, they've lost some of their luster, right? And one thing that we know, Jared Goff is basically a statue back there. So if he doesn't have time, right, he does not look good. And I think I sent you that crazy stat. Like,
Yes,
when
you
Jared
did.
Goff
You did.
did not have Sean McVay or Ben Johnson, he's like 0-18. It's changed now because he beat the Bears. But he hadn't won a game. He hadn't won a game without those two. So, again, they're not going to win their division. It looks like it's the Packers to lose, right? But I do think they'll be a wild card team. They're still going to be a good team. But as being the class of the NFC, it's Philadelphia and Green Bay.
I'm going to say let's chill, right? Because this is how much I believe in the fighting Dan Campbells. Kennedy Miller, I'm going to compare the Detroit Lions to Baby D from Friday. Okay? Right? This shit get physical. Okay? When you play the Detroit Lions, you know it's gonna get physical, right? And when the fighting Dan Campbells they was coming up, people were like the Detroit Lions, and eventually you had to start being like, You don't know the Detroit Lions. That's why you're looking at me like that. You don't know the Detroit Lions. Okay? The Detroit Lions, the last couple of years, have been moving furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Moving furniture. You know if you're going to play the Detroit Lions, you're going to feel it. Right? And that all was built upon the offensive line play. Right? They are going to move you up out the spot. The center Ragnar retired. They also lost both guards. Against Green Bay, they couldn't get a push. Right? But then against the Bears, they look like Baby D moving people up out the spot. Now, again, I don't know if that's just the Bears and the Bears are that sorry or the Packers are just the worst team in the league. Like, I can't really, like, there was such wide variance in their performance these first 2 weeks. I can't get a good feel on where they actually are. Right? But I'm going to give Dan Campbell the benefit of the doubt. I feel like he's earned it. I feel like Dan Campbell has earned it. They still got a really talented roster over there. Right? And if they can figure it out, right? And if they can get a push consistently, they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine. Now, they got the Ravens this week. So we'll have a better idea again because the Ravens got some guys up front.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, that idiot Jamison Williams, because that's what he is. He is a fool, a stone cold fool. Like, didn't he get suspended for gambling while he was in the team facility?
I think so.
Then he was on steroids or something.
Yeah, can't get out of his own way.
Hey man, that he is the type of person that Kennedy Miller, our grandmother, would say he a little touched.
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the other one? The elevator don't go all the way to the top with that boy.
Some cheese done slid off his crack.
See, that's how I know you grew up right hanging around some old black men. Because that is an old black man classic right there. Right? That one, and you see an old black man, you say, how you doing? And they hit you like, good to see you. And they say, it's better to be seen than to be
Seen and
viewed.
viewed. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh man, shout out to Lanny Bell. Shout out to him. But I'm just gonna say, like, and then there was a time that Jameson Williams was doing a Pretty Ricky routine after he scored a touchdown. Like, I smooth thought I was at the Scream tour. I thought I had a flashback of 2004. I'm like, wow, okay, buddy. Okay, we're doing that. All right, buddy. Cool. All right. So you're going goodbye love on the Lions as contenders. And I'm saying, hey, let's just chill. All right. Next one, we're gonna go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's chill. A goodbye love. They won these first 2 ball games, but it wasn't pretty, right? Now again, Kennedy Miller and those out there listening, I have to be very, very careful, right? Today is my lovely fiance's birthday, and I do not need to upset her by talking bad about the Philadelphia Eagles, well, at least in her mind. But I'm gonna be truthful. We're gonna keep this between us. I don't, man. This feels like that team they had 2 years ago, right? When they're winning a bunch of close games, right? But they don't actually feel impressive. But we kind of give them that whole winning is a skill thing, right? Like we kind of give them that sort of benefit of the doubt. But I'm like, yo, offensively, this still doesn't look good. Like there should never be a situation like AJ Brown had 4. Like AJ Brown in the first game, he was targeted once. Now again, weird game, weird stoppage in the middle. Like that second half, like no one really got much of anything done. So I didn't think you could really take much out of that. But even in the first half, they didn't look at him at all, right? Second half, the second game, I feel like they threw him 4 or 5 slants, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Like offensively, again, everybody's terrified of Saquon in the run game.
As it should.
Right. So if everybody's going to be in the box, you've got to have some run, play action, some RPOs. You got to have something. Everything looks really stagnant right now. Everything looks really difficult for them to move the football.
I would say let's chill.
I am shocked that Cowboy fan is going to give the Eagles a let's chill. I am shocked, Kennedy.
And they're good. I just I'm pretty sure we've had this discussion before, but I mean, Jalen Hurts he's a good quarterback in a great situation. Like they don't. He didn't even throw. Did he throw for 100 yards yesterday? What 100?
101.
101 yards. Like they really don't need to throw the ball downfield. Like just get to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. All they're gonna do is do the tush push.
But I think the process of getting to 3rd and 1 is the issue, right? Like if everybody's loading the box, if they've got everybody in they mammy in the box,
They got the best O-line in the league. Those
It's-
dudes are huge.
it's the best O-line in the league, but they're not. I don't think they're far and away they're still the best O-line in the league, but like they were the best by like 5 miles last year. And I think this year they're just the best O-line in the league, but not like all-time great. And for Saquon to have that kind of success, they were all-time great O-line, right? They lost that monster Mekhi Becton.
Mhm.
We were watching him right now play for the Chargers,
Mhm.
right? Now they moved Tyler Steen into that spot. Landon Dickerson is banged up. I think he's the left guard,
Mhm.
right guard, whichever. They're good, but I think the margins are tightening up for the Eagles offensively. Now, again, defensively, they don't have the pass rushers that they had last year. Like they don't have Sweat and Milton Williams, right? They still got dudes out there. Like Cooper DeJean is really good at nickel. Makuba at safety, hey, they got another one, right? I think this is a really good team, but I'm not sure if they're better than the Packers. Like at this moment, I would
I wouldn't
probably.
say that they're better than the Packers right now.
So you're gonna go, let's chill on the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll say let's chill on.
It's early. We're gonna see if this passing game stabilizes. If they can able to get the ball to AJ Brown a little bit, we're gonna see. So, but I'm gonna say goodbye love in terms of them being like the best team in the NFC. I'm gonna say goodbye love. Let's go to the Florida Gators, Kennedy Miller.
Well, I said goodbye, love. At the
To Billy
beginning of
Napier.
Yeah, at the beginning of last year. Like I said, he was on the hot seat. He was probably going to lose his job. I mean, at the end of the day, like y'all just can't turn the ball over. Like you just can't turn the ball over that much, right? LSU, we already kind of touched on it. They had 5 interceptions and lost by 20-10, and one of them was a pick six. Like it doesn't matter how much talent you're accumulating, right? Like one coach, we always talk like, what is your floor as a team? It doesn't matter how much talent you have, like what is your floor? So like you can have a game and you throw like 20 to 25 passes, right? And if 20 of them are good passes and 5 are awful, you didn't have a good like it can lose a game. Like you can be playing really well. I'm reminded 2014, Tony Romo, not 2014, it was a little bit earlier than that. Tony Romo plays against Peyton Manning, throws for 500 yards, going back and forth, back and forth. He gets the last drive of the game, pick. Phenomenal game all the way up until that point, but then you throw the pick to lose it. So like 2 or 3 plays like that can signal you having a bad game. DJ Lagway in 11 FBS games, he started 8, has thrown 10 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. Like you're not going to consistently succeed turning the ball over that much as a team, no matter how much talent you have. And some of that has to speak to the coach, Billy Napier. Like, dude, the penalties, they get the spin penalty against South Florida. They get a bad penalty against LSU. Like, that's coaching. I'm out. I'm all out on it.
The thing with Florida last year, we said their schedule was crazy tough last year. We didn't.
Yes.
Neither of us, I think, thought Billy would make it through the year last year. They had a slow start, but those boys played hard for Billy. They beat LSU. They beat Ole Miss. They won some games down the stretch. Beat what was left of Florida State at the time. They won 8 ball games. So you're thinking, okay, they've made some sort of progression from 6 wins the first 2 years to 8 regular season wins. At some point, you have to have the breakthrough year. right?
Mhm.
It's like that has to happen at some point. At some point, you have to not continue to make the same mistakes you've been continuously making. At some point, you actually have to win things. Like I'm at the same place with him as I am like with Bryce Young. Like at certain points, you actually have to win some of these games. You can have flashes, you can have all that. Yeah, that's cute for the first year or so. At a certain point, you actually have to bring it home, right? What Pusha T say? Moral victories are for minor league coaches. All right. And again, they lost. And here's the bad part about Florida. Florida's defense appears to be very, very good. And I mean very good. Florida's defense in 3 games has allowed only 2 touchdowns. And they are 1-2. Like, so I'm gonna read you off their next couple games. This Saturday on the road at Miami. Loss? You think that's a loss?
I think they can win that game.
The next week at home. Oh Lord, this is 2 weeks after that, and I ain't gonna lie. This matchup felt a lot better like 6, 7 weeks ago than it does now. The Arch Manning DJ Lagway game
Oh,
may
yeah.
set quarterback play back a decade, maybe 2. Right? Like, how confident do you feel like they're gonna win? Do you think they're gonna win, beat Texas at home when Billy might be coaching for his job at 1-3? Then they go to Texas A&M. Then they've got Mississippi State. Then they've got Georgia in Jacksonville. If it goes the way I believe it will, I don't believe Billy Napier makes it to Jacksonville and coaches the Georgia game. Like, there's no chance. If they start off 1-4 or 2-5, he didn't have a shot. I think this is goodbye love on Billy Napier. Like, you can, and here's the thing, I think everybody's trying to grab them a Nick Saban assistant and build them a sort of Alabama redux.
Mhm.
The only guy, well, I feel like we can at some point give Steve Sarkisian some measure of credit with it. Only 2 guys have been able to really make that work. Again, Sarkisian has not won a national championship, right? But build a roster that can consistently make conference championship game appearances, college football playoff appearances, and can send guys to the league at that level is Texas and Georgia, right? Florida tried it. Texas A&M tried it. Tennessee tried it at one point with Jeremy Pruitt. Right? Like different people have tried it and it's failed. And it's one of those sorts of things like, hey, everybody can't win.
Yeah.
There are too many great teams in this conference. Everybody can't win. Everybody can't be super. Right? So for Florida, it's the situation where it's like, man, I don't know. Like, and they have a really talented roster, but they cannot pull this together. And I think it's a wrap for Billy Napier. All right, let's go to the next coach who he has a big reputation on this show. We talk about him a lot, right? Our good friend, Deion Sanders. They are 1-2. They just lost the game by 17 to the Houston Cougars. So Kennedy Miller, let's chill. Or is it goodbye love for the Colorado Buffaloes being like contenders in the Big 12?
Being contenders in the Big 12.
Yes,
It's
after
goodbye.
they went 9-3 last year.
It's goodbye love. You don't have 2 professional NFL players on your team this year. And this is the first time that Deion Sanders has coached a quarterback whose last name is not Sanders. So they're not there to clean up a lot of mess that was on the team the last 2 years, right? I didn't even think in 3 weeks, 3 quarterbacks would have been playing. Like 3 quarterbacks would have played, right? Caden Salter, Julian Lewis, Ryan Staub, Martin Luther Staub.
That
I-
was blasphemous. I'm just going, that was blasphemous.
I I don't know, man. Like you got to think about like pulling a quarterback that quickly. What does that do to a quarterback's confidence? Like I'm not saying that dude played great against Georgia Tech, but like Georgia Tech is they're not bums. Like
Pretty good.
and then you pull them the next week. So you got to think at least one of these dudes is thinking about transferring already. What Julian Lewis was committed to USC, right? Flip USC to Colorado.
Every year Deion flips a 5-star. A couple years ago, it was Travis Hunter. Next year was Kamani McClain. Year after that, it was Jordan Seaton. This time it was Juju Lewis.
Last year, they were dead last in rushing. They couldn't stop the run. Marshall Faulk said things will be changed. I have not seen anything changed. They still can't run the ball. They still can't stop the run. Like, I don't know if it's the coaching, like Pat Shermer, Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp, like on the defensive side of the ball, like with the D line, what's going on, or if
Do
it's
you trust a grown
personnel.
ass? Do you trust a grown ass man with a mohawk?
Don't even get me started.
No, do you seriously? Come on, I'm trying to get you
No,
started.
of course I don't. He's another proven commodity that you have to be a little bit off to dominate on that side of the ball in the NFL. Like, he ain't no Lawrence Taylor, but I wouldn't be surprised if I heard any wild story coming from about Warren Sapp with a mohawk in the year of our Lord 2025.
And he is not like 15 years old. Like, this is a grown man in his 40s with, he should be damn near close to 50 at this point. If we almost
Yep.
30, if we're almost 30 years old, he should be close to 50. And can I ask you this question? Like, can you imagine him and Michael Irvin
Jesus,
kicking it?
no.
Can you imagine the two of them just kicking flame? Can you imagine two of them just hanging out somewhere?
Do you know how loud it would be in there? Dude, I mean, seriously, I watched the Michael Irvin and Shannon Sharp podcast. If that wasn't the most OG Unk interview I've ever seen in my life, Michael Irvin shook his hand about 25 times throughout that interview. I said, this is insane, bro. But I think Colorado, like, they got to beat Wyoming next week. Like, you got to win that game. But then your schedule is like, I didn't have them in order, but TCU, you got BYU, you got Utah coming up. Like, I ain't confident they're gonna win any of them games because, again, you don't have a pro quarterback that was cleaning up mess. You don't have Travis Hunter that was cleaning up mess, right? Sometimes those two guys' talent could overtake the problems on the field. They not there anymore.
Their biggest thing, I think you said, is it coaching? What is it? I said, this is an issue. This is what happens when you depend primarily on the portal to restock your roster. To me, if you are recruiting guys right now for the class of 2026, those guys are probably not going to help you win games until 2027 and 2028. Right? So there are recruiting classes that Deion could have had the last couple of years. I think there was one year they brought in like 4 freshmen and that was it. And they portaled the rest of those guys in. And it's like, well, you need young players that are homegrown that you can develop. Like, that's how actual championship level programs, you recruit, you develop those guys over a couple of years. At least that's the theory. Things are working a little bit different now with the portal, but that's how this should work. The portal should supplement what you do. The portal shouldn't be your primary source of talent acquisition, because we see what that happens when that doesn't work, right? Like, 2 or 3 years ago, Florida State hit really well on some of those portal classes. Keon Coleman, Jared Verse, Jordan Travis, it went well. We saw what happened last year when they brought in DJ, and they were 2-10. But you see him again this year when they hit, right? Like, that's the thing. When you're kind of a team like that, when you're depending on things like that, this isn't gonna work this isn't gonna work every single time. And I think for Deion was giving him a lot of grace. Is that without Travis Hunter, without Shedeur Sanders, I feel like a lot of people have kind of stopped paying attention. This has become basically a regular average college football program again that Deion Sanders just happens to be the coach of, because all of the noise is gone, right? I think even last year they were 9-3. Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy, and it wasn't the same level of hype and noise as it was that first year. That first year, it was Linsanity-esque, right? All of that has died down. And I think that is really what's saving Deion Sanders from tons of criticism. Tons. Because if this was 2-3 years ago and they looked like this and they were on their third string quarterback in the third week of the season, oh, it would be bad. It would be really, really bad. And not to mention, they not only lost Hunter and Shedeur, LeJontay Wester plays for the Ravens now. Will Shepard is gone too. Right? Like, all of their top 4 receivers are all gone. So, like, we kind of talked about this with Arch earlier. We're going to find out what Arch Manning is made of. Same thing with Deion. We're going to find out, because this seems to be a roster that's not nearly as talented as the one last year. And so what sometimes you see coaches do where they don't have nearly as talented of a roster they had the year before, they have to coach their way out of that. They have to scheme their way into winning some games. Can Deion do that? His clock management is pretty at the end of games is pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Right? But again, he's really lucky. At this point, there aren't very many people paying attention. All right, Ken. You ready to pick some games?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Ken, we're going to start off with college football. Number 22, Auburn, with Jackson Arnold returning to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the 11th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Ken, who you got?
I got Oklahoma winning. I like the Mateer kid. I mean, they look pretty good, man. They look pretty good. Auburn they don't look bad. I think OU is going to win that game, though. I think OU is going to has some pretty good momentum going into the Red River rivalry in a couple of weeks. So I got OU winning that.
I'm betting on Hugh Freeze. Mister, don't call him on your work phone. Jackson Arnold looks much better.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a good running game. They've got two really good receivers out there, right? And it's the SEC, so that they're going to have some defensive linemen over there. Jackson Arnold in a revenge game. And for me, it's as much about Jackson Arnold coming back to OU as it is for me, OU's offensive line is not very good. Like their O-line play the last couple years has not been great. I saw them struggling to run basic gap scheme plays against Illinois State. If you can't run counter left, you got to bounce counter outside against Illinois State. Ain't a chance in hell you can hit those against Auburn. Not a chance. I am gonna go Auburn on a road upset in Norman. Next one, I'm gonna go Chiefs at the Giants. Kennedy Miller, who you got?
Chiefs. Giants. I mean, the Giants got too many. They got too many weaknesses, bro. Like the Chiefs not starting 0-3, and you got a you got a team like the Giants. Like no, one thing the Giants gonna do, they got pass rushers. Like if the Giants can get a lead, and those guys can pin their ears back and get to the quarterback, a lot of their draft picks, right, and the trade for Brian Burns, they got guys that can get to the quarterback. But I mean, Russell Wilson ain't gonna do that. What he did yesterday, he's not gonna do that again. Malik Neighbors is a bad boy, but no.
I don't remember the last time I saw Russell Wilson play that.
2019, 6 years.
You said I can tell you.
Yeah, close to a decade ago. Closer to a decade than now.
For me, I was like, I don't remember him playing that well since Biden was the president, and like that's at like the very beginning. Like this was still like first when we first got the vaccines.
Seattle Russ for sure.
Right. I think the Chargers. Oh that was interception.
I thought
that
he caught it too.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness. Right. I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game, but given the defensive line play of the Giants, this is gonna be ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they're not gonna just boat race the Giants. Right. And it feels weird for us to be giving the Giants any measure of credit when we saw them mess up a wet dream last night. But defensively, their strength is the Chiefs' weakness. Chiefs can't get a push on the offensive line to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Chiefs have issues protecting the quarterback. And the Chiefs don't have any receivers right now. I mean, Hollywood Brown's hurt. Xavier Worthy's hurt. Who they sending out there? Tyquan Thornton? Kennedy Miller? That might as well be Kennedy Miller and Alex Goodwin. Okay. I feel like Stephen A. Smith. Anybody worry about no damn LeVar? Okay. Anybody worry about Tyquan Thornton?
Yeah.
Anybody worry about Tyquan Thornton? The Chiefs are going to win, but it's going to be close. Closer, right. like we're going to see. We're really going to realize how thin the margins have gotten when they can't beat the ghost of Russell Wilson by a mile. All right. Last one, and we up out of here, Kennedy Miller. Lions at the Ravens, Monday Night Football.
Ravens. I think the Ravens, I mean, them and the Packers, I think those are the best rosters in football. Like, they're a really good team. I don't know why Cleveland was talking all week Um,
What else they
I don't
gonna do?
like. I don't get that. And then last week, obviously, Derrick Henry fumbled, took a almost superhuman, Josh Allen performance. Their defense, there's cause for concern. Giving up that many points. But like we just talked about, I think Detroit is just a step below now. When the last couple of years they were toe to toe with the elite of the elite. I think Baltimore wins this game.
I'm gonna go with the Lions. My thing with the Baltimore Ravens, we got to start talking about. We're gonna have a conversation about John Harbaugh. We're gonna have a conversation because I think we need to have a conversation about this man as Vanilla Doc Rivers. Because do you know he has blown 17 fourth quarter leads?
I saw that stat.
17. They ain't seen a lead that they couldn't blow. Like, it's ridiculous how talented of a team that they are. They can blow leads like this. It is insane. It is ridiculous. Like, to me at least, I feel like wasn't able to say this the first episode, our NFL preview episode. If the Ravens do not make the Super Bowl or win it, like they don't make the Super Bowl, they need to fire him. Because you've gone as far as you can with the coach. I said this about Sean Payton several years ago. How much longer are we going to let Sean Payton skate in New Orleans on that one championship in 2010? Or like, how much longer are we going to let him just ride on this one? It's been a minute. Like, it's been a minute since the Ravens have realized their potential. And they've had 3 teams in the last 5 or 6 years that we were like, this is the best team in the AFC. They've had 3 or 4 of those teams. But this time, I'm going with the Fighting Dan Campbells. 24 winning. And that is another episode of the Game Plan Podcast. Kennedy Miller, my guy.
Always a pleasure, my brother.
Where can the folks find you on Twitter, my man?
Find me on Twitter at _Kennedy Miller _. Again, that's _Kennedy Miller _.
All right. You guys can find me on Twitter at Alex Goodwin, TSM. That's on the artist formerly known as Twitter. At Alex Goodwin, TSM. That's T as in Texas, S as in Stanford, M as in Michigan. Don't forget, follow the Game Plan Podcast on our official YouTube channel. Get us to 100 subscribers, folks. Me and Kennedy Miller, we're going to come up with something to give our 100th subscriber. We don't know what that is, what that's going to be yet, right? But we're going to give y'all something. So find and tell 10 friends, tell 10 more friends, tell 10 more friends about the Game Plan Podcast. Holla at us on our official YouTube channel. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, we appreciate you guys for listening. For Kennedy Miller, my name is Alex Goodwin. This has been the Game Plan Podcast. We will see you guys next time. Y'all take it easy.